I'm very tired today. So you know what that means. You know what's crazy? I remember a couple videos ago I told you guys like that I was trying to slow down with the caffeine, but I start like almost every video with some caffeine, which is fucking hilarious, but I don't know, I just thought I'd mention it. But I actually got this for free from work the other day. Like a bunch of vendors come in and they were like, it was for like this special day that we had. Basically, we had a bunch of vendors come in and set up shop, and they were just, we had the Monster vendors come in and they were handing out hella free Monsters, and yeah, the Zero Sugar Strawberry Ultra Dream was calling the name. Know what I'm saying? And I've already tried this before. I'm not gonna act like I haven't tried this before. This is freaking delicious, man. But I was gonna drink it yesterday, and I was gonna shoot a YouTube video on my lunch, but my camera was low battery and I was way too freaking tired, man. Like at work yesterday, it was just not it. And I don't think I would have gave the best YouTube video that I could have. So even with the caffeine, so I didn't bother. But I woke up early today because I had a couple errands to run in the morning, and yeah, I had to wake up early today, and then I got work soon, so here goes nothing, mate. Ooh. I'm telling you, Strawberry Ultra Dream, no sugar, gas. Anyway, yesterday while I was at work, some guy was, he was like showing, I just walked by and I just happened to overhear a conversation. He was like showing his friend, like, one of our coworkers, he was just showing his friend like his pictures of his son and videos of his son. He was just basically proud of his son, and he was just showing him off, and he was just complaining about how he had sent them a text message, and it's so easy for kids to scroll on their phone and this, that, but it's so hard for them to, you know, reply back to a parent's response. And it just kind of made me laugh because I'm like the exact same way. But mind you, I just hate texting. I'm just not a fan of texting in general, but like I just prefer to call. But I don't know, I don't respond to my parents like that. And it just made me realize something. Like, it just made me realize that, like, I'm just not the best to my parents, you know? And I just feel like, for me, I could definitely be doing more for them. Not because I feel like I should be, but I think that is what it is. It is partially because I feel like I should be, because I feel like, you know, there are people that I feel like in your life, even if they're not necessarily your parents, I do believe that in everyone's life, there are people who greatly benefit your life. And without those same people, it wouldn't have been the same, and they helped you a lot throughout like a lot of your hard moments and your hard times. And I think it's easy to forget about that when things are going kind of not great, but just when you're kind of just cruising, right? When you're kind of cruising through the motions, I feel like it's pretty easy to forget about who's like always helped you and who was always there for you. And you know what it is? A couple days ago, I was just really thinking about it on my way to bed. Not on my way to bed, but while I was falling asleep, I was really thinking about how, like, I didn't get it as bad as my siblings. Like, my siblings are a lot older than me, and they've honestly done way less worse things than I did. But they got beat way harder than me. And, like, it all just comes down to the fact that, you know, they might have opened up some lanes for me, or what is the saying, you know, they paved the way for me, you know, and I didn't have to, you know, the same things that they got in trouble for, I didn't get in trouble as much, or something else. But at the same time, for me, I think part of it has to do with the fact that I was a way worse child. Like, I got terrible grades, I was horrible at, like, in school, not just like my grades, but like behavioral wise. I was horrible outside of school. I was just a not great kid. But my parents are still here, and like for me, you know, and they still like want the best for me. They still make me food, and like, yeah, like maybe, you know, at times like things aren't going the greatest, and maybe you have to help your parents out a bit, or you feel like, you know, you're in a position where your parents are probably telling you things that you've heard a million times before, or you're probably in a position. And I'm just saying all these things because not necessarily it applies to everybody. Like, I think there's some unfortunate circumstances where maybe like your parents aren't in your life, or where like, and I don't want to speak on those because it's just not my place. I don't know what that's like, and I'll never know what that's like. But I also do believe that even people who don't necessarily have a parent figure, or then they definitely have someone important in their life that guides them and that tells them things, you know. And as much as people say, like, everyone likes to say they did it on their own, and everyone likes to talk about how, like, you know, it's all about like you, but I genuinely think that like that's not true at all. I think a lot of people make it because of other people. I think it just has to do with like who you meet, you know? You have to surround yourself around the right people, obviously, right? But regardless, going back to what I was originally saying, I just think that, you know, through all the times, you know, when every time I've tried to, maybe I'm wording this the wrong way. You know, there are plenty of times in my life where my parents had been trying to tell me, you know, don't do this or don't do that, or why are you doing this, and they would tell me so many little things that at the time, especially things that I didn't necessarily agree with, just little things about my habits, like, you know, just remembering to, whatever the case may be, brush my teeth before going to bed, or remembering to put this away after I use it, or just these little tiny things. Like, I never thought in my life that they were that significant. I don't know, I just thought of it that way. But like, you know, you grow up and you learn some things, and I genuinely think that the habits that you have, I spoke about this with a very smart friend of mine the other day, that your habits shape you, right? Your specific set of habits that you have, they shape you as a person. So whatever habits that you developed as a kid that you still have now, whether they're good or bad, that's what makes you up as a person, because those little habits and those little behavior things day to day is what you do, right? Now, that's where I think it's a little different, where I feel like I'm going through the motions or going through the thought process of like, I need to appreciate my parents way more, because I wouldn't be half of who I am, and I wouldn't even have made it to half of where I am if it wasn't for my parents, you know, because they taught me so much. And if it wasn't for the little things that they tried to teach me growing up, I wouldn't even be in the position that I am now, simply just because I wasn't that smart. And as a kid, you know, you're growing up, you don't know anything. It's the people around you that teach you, your parents, your teachers, your friends. It's these things, maybe your parents' friends, or maybe people at church, or maybe people at school. Wherever the hell that you belong, or where you go, maybe you have extracurriculars that you take part in that I didn't name, but wherever the case may be, you might be able to learn something from people that are older than you, that have more experience than you, that could just give you knowledge that you didn't know before, that could help you, you know, steer your life in a specific direction. And that's honestly it. I didn't really have much to talk about. It was just the fact that I had this conversation a couple days ago with my friend, that the habits you have as a person shape you. And that's what it is too, right? Like, if you are able to change these habits, you are able to change the person you are. And that's what it is, right? Even though, you know, I tell myself I'm not gonna drink caffeine, and I'm drinking caffeine right now, but I definitely do believe that if you are able to change habits that, you know, are not necessarily good, even if they are good, if you're able to just change your habits through just pure will and just, you know, focusing on yourself, you could definitely change the way you are as a person. And I think that that's a very important thing to remember and think about, that I just need to remember a lot more often. And just, I also need to be grateful, because I wouldn't be, yeah, I already said it, but I wouldn't be like this if it wasn't for my parents, right? So I definitely owe a lot more to my parents, and that's part of the reason why I need to make it, man. I know in the last video I was talking about how I just feel like I need to send this because of other reasons, but for me, I feel like I need to send this because there are people in my life who work too hard for me to be in the position that I am in right now. And I don't necessarily just mean my parents. Like, there are plenty of people in my life that I think of as my best friends, or people that are just very close to me. And I think the same for them too. It's not just my parents. I was just realizing this about my parents specifically. But for me, it's more so about, there are plenty of people in my life that I know that if they weren't there, not that I wouldn't be here right now, but I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in right now, right? And that's something to think about. You know, I don't think it's good to just think about the fact that, oh, I did this myself and I only made it here because of the fact that I'm great and this, like, maybe I think of things a little differently. Maybe I just think of, maybe I like to give people a little bit too much credit than I should, but I think that's part of it, you know? I think that there's, especially as friends or as, you know, as acquaintances that have love for each other, there's a lot to learn and share from each other. To level up as a person, to level up as a human being, to just gain knowledge, to gain more, whatever the case may be, right? But yeah, I don't know. I've just been babbling on for a bit. I honestly wanted to make this a short one. Yeah, work is gonna be shit, but we persevere. Energy levels are low, but it's okay. We still persevere. And yeah, fuck, man. I hope everyone has a good day. I hope everyone who's watching, I hope everything I said makes sense. because I feel like my thoughts weren't all that great today, but it made sense in my head, and I genuinely just wanted to put it into a video, mainly because I need to post a video Friday, but also just because of the fact that it's good to just speak things into the camera even if they don't make sense, because man, at the end of the day, I'm gonna watch these and I'm able to, you know, go through what I was thinking about and all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, hope you guys have a good day. I'm gonna enjoy this actually, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
You did good, say.